Hello, my name is Robin Castleberry from the Environmental Management Program at the American Public University System, and this is my plan for ethically reducing Nevada's wild horses. As required under the Wild Free-Roaming Horses and Burros Act of 1971, the Bureau of Land Management, or BLM, conducts an annual population inventory to estimate the number of wild horses and burros roaming BLM-managed lands on the West. To promote healthy conditions on the range, the BLM determines what it calls the appropriate management level, or AML, which is the number of wild horses and burros that can thrive in balance with other public land resources and uses. Wild horses and burros that exceed that level are to be removed from the range. Unfortunately, over the years, the numbers have grown out of control, and a new plan for management is needed. The vision statement for this plan is returning Nevada's public lands to a state of balance between all creatures and entities by reducing and controlling the wild horse and burro population in the most ethical way. Stakeholders are vital to the success of any management plan. In 2013, the Alberta Ministry of Environment and Parks in Canada created an advisory committee for their wild horse program. The committee was made up of 15 diverse stakeholder groups. The large amount of stakeholders were able to provide varying advice and expertise. A committee such as that in Nevada would be helpful to providing many different ideas and suggestions, allowing for a more customizable plan. The stakeholders would include, but are not limited to, animal rights activists, ranchers, nonprofit organizations, public land users, and the general public. The objective of the plan is to rebalance the ecosystem in Nevada by reducing the total number of animals from 47,081 to 12,811. This will be difficult to accomplish, but with the proper amount of stakeholders can be done if approached in a more adaptive and aggressive way. To start, the state will be split into 3 sections that will be worked over the span of 3 years. Previously used ways of rounding up the animals, such as helicopters, will need to be utilized in areas of rough terrain. But also, food and water traps will be used in areas that are easily accessible. Once collected, certain horses will be identified as adoptable and removed for relocation. All mares that are not adoptable and in the breeding age group will be immunized with porcine zona pellucida, or PZP. This is a temporary contraceptive that will slow the growth rate of herds. This will give the BLM and stakeholders time to reduce the herds while preventing it from growing. As the title suggests, the most important objective is to remain as ethical as possible and to complete the plan without the unnecessary slaughter of wild horses and burros. With a plan of this capacity, it is expected that things will fail and adapting to alternative circumstances will be necessary. One part that will need to be considered is the time frame. 3 years is enough time to work each part of the state, but there could be a number of setbacks, and having a timeline that is flexible could help ease tensions between the stakeholder groups. Another area to alter the plan is to sterilize dominant males permanently if the temporary female contraceptive fails. More people willing to give adoptable horses homes might need to be found if the number of those horses exceed original expectations. Remaining open to all possibilities will ultimately lead to a more successful process. The health of the horses and the land would benefit from a more rigorous monitoring plan. As you can see in the picture, overpopulation can create a lack of food and water, resulting in emaciated animals. If different entities, such as the federal government and veterinarians, monitored the status of herds on a quarterly basis, they would be able to make more adaptable decisions based off of findings that are more regular. Thank you for your time and for your considerations.